Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Thursday, March 30th, 2023 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I align my actions with my value of myself. Better or for worse, right? I mean, that's a truth, but hopefully in this energy we are aligning our actions with valuing ourselves, truly valuing ourselves. So we have some interesting astro today. We have a few connections. I mentioned them the last 2 days, but I'm actually going to start with two of these cards because I love this combination. We have maturity and transformation. Now there's so many different ways we can look at this, but I really like this on the level of there is some transformation available to us that is maturing. It is balancing in the physical. Now this can also represent, this is the Ace of Pentacles, being that we have Venus aligning with Uranus. This may be part of the overall money systems shifts that are going on currently that need to go through some transformation. And so this is a call to not have fear when it comes to money. That is so generated right now. And I say at the end of every scope, there's more than enough love in the world for you. There's more than enough money. There's more than enough resources. Even with all the flooding, everything, there's more than enough food. There's more than enough water. There's more than enough everything. People, humans, everything. We are on such an abundant planet. Please watch where that fear tucks in and tend to yourself in those wounds. We all have those lack wounds. We have all experienced lack on this very abundant planet. And maybe that's been for lessons. It's been generated for a reason. And yet, especially when we learn those lessons, we don't have to go through it. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind today in this energy. There is maturity in this. Wholeness, balancing to us as people and on other systems, right? I love the three major, maybe even four major things that's happening today. So I mentioned Venus and Uranus in Taurus coming into a conjunction, working together, highlighting each other's energy. That's basically what a conjunction does. These two planets kind of like bounce their energies and enhance their energies with each other. Uranus is always an interesting energy to balance with, right? But we've got that. We've got Mars and Saturn working in a trine, so they are supporting each other. And one that I didn't mention, because I didn't see it until I looked at today's chart, Mercury in Aries conjunct working with Vesta. Vesta is an asteroid. I don't talk about Vesta all that often, but it feels pertinent in today's energy. Vesta is a goddess representing the hearth and home. Vesta to me is our inner fire. It's our inner light. In fact, there's a song I really like by Elderbrook called Inner Light. And it says, I will find my way to you. And that's the truth of our inner light. It's like, I will find my way through you to the surface. And this is something to remember. As our yin and yang energies are being worked, there is this inner light that pulses, that vibrates, that shines within us. And it's always working on making its way through your shadows, through your trauma, through your darkness, through all of that, so that you can shine, so that you can be all you can be all you came to be. And with this in Mercury at 22 degrees, that master degree, it's the knowledge, it's the wisdom, it's the recognizing of your inner light. That is your I am. That is your soul. That is who you are. And all this other stuff, it's the lessons. It's the details. Sometimes we need the awareness around that. But that inner light is pulsing. It is working its way through you. And I think that's part of the maturity process, is recognizing who you really are beyond the meat suit, beyond the body, beyond what's happened to you. This inner light that is finding its way through you, finding its way back to center, finding its way back to home. always, through everything we go through and grow through. Keep that in mind, because I know times feel really intense, and yet to remember that can sometimes help us break through that film that's holding us back. So let's talk about some of these other energies. Mars and Saturn. Mars in Cancer, Saturn in Pisces. Deep intuition. And Mars in Cancer is like, I need to learn to value the yin. I need to learn to value and take action according to this higher guidance, according to intuition, according to my higher self, listening to my feelings rather than just blowing through them, honoring, respecting, sometimes taking time, taking pause to nurture the feelings. And that's my feeling with Mars connecting to Saturn. There is responsibility in this. And part of our responsibility is feel what you are feeling. That's part of your process. And the maturity is, can I be present in this energy? You can be. Are you going to allow it? Can you allow the uncomfortable at times, right? Then we meet up with Venus and Uranus, talk about uncomfortable. Uranus is not comfortable. Uranus can be very triggery. Uranus with Venus in Taurus can trigger the fears around the money. It can trigger our worth stuff. It can trigger feelings around being here on this planet. Now, any of these things are for better or for worse. You may be in the bottom part of the realization, and you might be coming through the ahas. That's part of the Uranus work. Sometimes we gotta hit the pain of the trigger, the pain of the challenge, so that we can then have the breakthrough. There's breakthrough always available when it comes to Uranus energy, especially if you can lean into your inner light in this energy. I've been doing the eclipse readings, and it's very interesting that the first eclipse is basically bridging Aries and Taurus. And that bridge is I am to I value who I am. And so this work is coming in very strong. And here is Uranus, like, are you ready to value who you are? Here's where you may not be valuing it. Here's where you've got some of this transformation work to do. So this is very powerful. I can also say that relationships may also feel a little challenging, triggery in this energy as well. And watch where you go. Watch how you take action according to your value. Are you going to honor yourself? Are you going to use substances or whatever to move through it? Can you be in the feelings? Can you allow yourself to move through this knowing it's a lesson that is going to pass through, right? Now, what makes this even more interesting is the moon's going to be finishing up in Cancer, meets up with Neptune, not Uranus. Neptune early in the morning. I've been having bonkers dreams last night, by the way. There was tornadoes of red dragons in my dream last night. Wow. But that Neptune energy is helping work the intuition, your intuition, to help support you in and through this. And then the moon is going to go into that void state, and that void state may make you sleepy. You may not feel a lot through this because you may be really tired. If you are feeling tired, please take time to rest, because that can support this whole process. The moon at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time will then move into Leo, getting into the inner child, breaking into the heart. The heart, such a big holder of our light. But that inner child energy may spur some of these things that you need to look at. And it may be that you need to work some of this maturity process with your inner child. Now, Moon in Leo is also making connection to Pluto. First things first, opposition to Pluto, 0 degrees Aquarius. And so it may be some world stuff that triggers your inner child. I don't think the world feels particularly safe right now to children, to our inner children, and there's a lot around that. But that may be where you need to focus your energy. on your inner child, tending to your heart, reminding it of its inner light, and moving through the more challenging pieces. We've got the trust card in reverse. When your inner child trusts you as an adult, you can also learn to trust you as an adult, and you will find yourself trusting the universe more so. But this is part of the process. Can you be with your inner child? And all of those layers of sorrow. I think we've had sorrow card like 3 days in a row. Maybe this is the last day as Moon in Cancer is finishing. And yet this may be a larger process that we have to go through with the moon, or not moon, with Mars moving through Cancer. But what I love is that we are moving. We've got the traveling card, and it's like there's been baggage that you have been carrying around maybe beyond this lifetime, and this is when we are working on it. Like, stuff is happening, stuff is moving, and trust that stuff is happening, stuff is moving. I will say by the end of the evening, moving into Friday, the moon in Leo is going to meet up with Lilith. And so you may feel some of your inner feist firing up, and that may feel supportive. Sometimes we need a little fieriness to help move us through the soggy emotions. It's like the sun bursting through the clouds. So that is it for today. Book a reading with me. Eclipse readings, you want to get on the calendar because I don't have too much availability. You can also book a regular reading if you want to dig into your chart. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com, for any of that. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.